All right. So, hope things are going well. Let me know if there are any questions as you've been working on the homework. Um, yeah, main thing I want to do today is go over sort of the study information that I put on Brightspace for the upcoming test 2, and just make sure that all the information about what it's going to be like is out there for you to be able to access. At any point, please cut me off with any questions that you have. Once we're done with the study information, we'll open the floor up to more questions, and if none exist at that time, then we'll just kind of go into free study period where you can hop in and out as you need to for the little while. So, test 2 is going to be about all of the electricity and magnetism chapters from the last about month or so. So that's chapter 15, which is about Coulomb's law, the force between charged particles. Chapter 16, which is about electric field. Well, actually, electric fields was part of chapter 15 as well. Chapter 16, capacitors and voltage and E fields inside of capacitors, and how capacitors work together within a capacitor circuit. Chapter 17 was resistor circuits, how voltage, current, and electrical resistance interact within a resistor circuit, and that's how the circuits that we use in day-to-day life operate. Additionally, Chapter 17 had electrical power in it as well. Stuff like how much power does a certain component use, how to calculate your electric bill, etc. And then Chapter 19-20 hybrid was about magnets. We talked about how magnetic fields interact with each other, interact with charged particles, and kind of the weird effects that can have on systems with electric current running in them. So if we go to Brightspace, there is a tab for Test 2, labeled Chapters 15 through 20, Electricity and Magnetism. First article here is a topic list, which kind of also doubles as a formula sheet. This lists all of the main principles from the last several chapters that we did. The list is a little out of date. I'm going to be updating it today. I apologize for that. All that's really different is a couple of topics I'm going to cross them out, basically. For example, we did not do, whoops, that's not the section I was trying to highlight. There we go. We did not talk about resistor capacitor combo circuits because they didn't come up organically as part of the course. We additionally did not talk about the magnetic force on solenoids, so that's another thing to cross out. So, and additionally, the old list includes circuit resistance stuff as part of Chapter 18, but we kind of lumped it all in together the week of Chapter 17. So those are the only things to really note about this list. Everything else on this list will step you through all the different concepts and formulas that you need to be familiar with before moving on towards the test. So this is pretty good as study reference material, and you could actually have this open as your formula sheet during test 2 if you wanted to, but I'd recommend having the older official class formula sheet as well in case you need to remember a different one like the formula for kinetic energy. But this is other than the changes I've made here, which I'll try to adjust later today, this is a good study reference material for you. So as you're studying, make sure that everything on this list is familiar to you, make sure that what it's describing makes sense to you, and make sure that you can recognize and use all of the formulas that are present. Additionally, there is a practice test right here. If if I download that and, oh, that's the topic list again. That doesn't need to be there. Here's the practice test. So this just has a series of practice questions involving all of those various principles. There is about 9 questions here. I would expect the test will be also about 9-10 questions. And this particular study test, again, if you can do these questions, if you understand the concepts in these questions and you can do the math for them, then you will be just fine on the test itself. As with the last one. And beneath the practice questions is an answer key for the practice questions. So as you're doing the work there, you can follow along and check your answers. There's also something else here. There is another piece of useful information here. The last article within the the test 2 section is this constant list. This is just a document that has all of the various different electrical constants that have come up throughout this particular section throughout the past month. That includes the table that gives the charge and mass of different subatomic particles, the K constant for Coulomb's law, and the mu naught permeability of free space constant from the magnetism chapter that we used. So this is also good reference material to just have on hand while you're doing practice study work, while you're working on homework, while you're doing the test. Completely available to you. These constants are just yours to use. So all of that is available to you to use for study. The test will again be on WebAssign, and the way that it'll work is just like the last one. Once you open it, it'll start a 5-hour timer, and the goal is just for you to finish within that 5-hour time slot. It should only take, it's designed to take 1 hour. The 5 hours is just because you're going to need to take breaks at some point, and it takes longer to get answers from me over the internet. I'm planning on opening it up about Tuesday of next week so that we can have Monday as another day to meet and review things. Tuesday it'll open up. It'll run through the weekend. And then during the week we'll have a few days for just study. We'll also have lab on Thursday. And then on Friday we'll begin discussing light and moving towards exam prep as well. Looking at the calendar real quick. Yeah, so next week will be a hybrid of many things. Test will open, we'll study the test some, we'll have one lab, and we'll begin talking about light, which will just be the last extra concepts before the exam. They're not going to be on test 2, because light is separate from, well, the formulas for light are separate from electricity and magnetism. But they're good to know. They will be added, and then they will be on the final, but not on test 2. I feel like that was a big compound sentence. I apologize. So next week, the test will open, we'll study, we'll have lab, and we will talk about light and then exam prep. Again, for the test, as with the last one, once you open it, please, as you're working it, send me questions as you have them. I want to know what issues you have as you're doing the assignment. And as study material for the test, make sure that you've done all the homeworks up till now. Make sure you've done all the quizzes for the relevant chapters. And again, make sure that you send me your work once you're done. Because again, WebAssign's autograder is going to mess things up, and I adjust it based on the work that you send me. So sending the work is absolutely vital. I'm just rambling because you've already had a test with this class, so you should understand how I'm just rambling. I apologize. So that's all of the test study content. Let me know what questions, if any, you have, either now or as you are studying, and I'll be available to answer them. I'll be in here for about another 2 hours today if you're jumping back in with questions. Let me know what you need as you need it, and we'll meet on Monday to discuss the test opening and start moving towards light as a study topic. So if I don't see you again today, see you next week. Again, email me questions or come back here with questions.